Because I've always had the conscious awareness that part of me existed within Pleiades and that dimensional density, this being started coming to me with the light language when my channel really opened back in 2017, 2018. The more I trusted myself, the more I trusted my channel, the more I trusted this process, the more I started listening. This is what I always kind of like explain when it comes to channeling, whether it's light language, mediumship, or whatever, like you really just need to learn to listen. Once you learn to do that, you understand these different things and how your system can integrate. And then this being like started integrating in me more and more until eventually I just like fully merged. So now I don't have to like tune in to get my channel to come down. Like it's just always present.
Okay, guys, special guest today from South Africa, Althea. Thanks for flying all the way here. Long flight, so I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're providing a lot of value to the world. I have a very beginner audience with what you do. So could you first off explain what light language is?
Yes, of course. So the way I understand it, light language is a new healing modality and technology that's coming in to assist the planetary ascension and awakening process. So the healing, you can understand it like an extension of Reiki healing or of these modalities that have been around for so many years. It works beyond the constraints of space and time. So when a light language is expressed through tones, through music, vocalizations, written, the people will receive it in a way that bypasses the conscious mind and works directly on their energy structure, directly on their DNA, and directly on their field.
Wow. So this has been around for a while?
Well, it basically was brought in. I mean, the way I understand the light language, maybe like about 100 years ago, but channeling and like speaking in tongues has been around since forever. But the frequency of it has shifted with the frequency of the planet rising. So while before the channeling and the speaking in tongues was more infused with earthly energy, now it's more galactic because there's more galactic presence on Earth right now.
Got it. Okay. So stay tuned, guys, for the end of this episode. She's going to demonstrate light language the last 5 minutes. So you mentioned galactic presence. Why are they all coming to Earth right now?
I think they've been around for very long. They're coming on Earth to assist so that they can help us get to where we are, help us within our sovereignty, help us ascend, help us work more as a collective, as a unit. Humanity has been plagued with the illusion of separation for so long. And I think now we all coming to the conscious awareness of ourselves. We're all tuning more into our spirituality. We're all shifting into the evolutionary process of becoming a more evolved species.
That's exciting. What was the reason for South Africa? Was it a specific reason for moving there?
So, I was born and grew up in Italy, and I only understood after why I was actually supposed to move to South Africa. I actually had to do some energetic grid work on the land there. So there's specific points there that I was relocated to. I lived for about 4 years at the space, which has something which is very similar to Stonehenge in the UK. It's called Adam's Calendar. It's about 100,000 years old. And it's said that, it was one of the first places where the Anunnaki brought through these stones. And I did quite a lot of energy work there. Generally, I work a lot on the land there as well, but all over the world.
Could you explain what grid work is for people that don't know?
Yeah, so grid work is basically like going into a specific area of the world. There's a lot of different grids. You'll have your planetary grid. You'll have your galactic grid. Even a human being has their own energetic grid. If you imagine the Earth grid, it's almost like imagine the ley lines going around the Earth. In all the different directions, and where they cross, there's energy points. And some of these energy points are dormant. So energy workers and people who, are consciously aware and are doing this kind of work will go and open up and activate to assist the healing of the planet, of humanity. So then when people anchor into those places, they can benefit from the energy as well.
Got it. So would those be portals too, in a sense?
Yes, in a way, they would be portals. It's a little bit different because portals that you will have around, their frequency will actually change and shift. The ones that happen within the grid, their frequency tends to be a bit more fixed. So once it's open, the energy that comes through, it's up to the person in the way they kind of like integrate it and how it affects their system, basically.
Got it. And I know you're working with others on this and also a higher version of yourself, right?
Correct.
So a 9th dimensional Pleiadian being and a 12th dimensional Mantis being.
Yes. So the ninth dimensional Pleiadian being is a version of myself that anchored within my system back between 2017, 2018. So when I channel light language, this being and the other one tend to come through and assist me. The mantis being works more with me with the codes and sometimes the technology, and you'll hear when I do some light language demonstration later. But I mean, when I was 9 years old, I saw a video on those old box TVs of the 90s, and someone was on there and said, "Oh, I'm from Pleiades," and something clicked in me, and I was 9 years old. I didn't even know what Pleiades was, but I was like, I'm from there too. And then when I started going down this spiritual path, eventually I was able to integrate this multidimensional version of myself that now assists me in my channel and, helps me do the work that I do collectively.
Wow. So what was that integration process like? How are you even aware of that? How are you communicating with that?
So yeah, that's a very good question. Basically, because I've always had the conscious awareness that part of me existed within, Pleiades and that dimensional density. This being started coming to me with the light language when my channel really opened back in 2017, 2018. And then the more I trusted myself, the more I trusted my channel, the more I trusted this process, the more I started listening. This is what I always kind of like explain when it comes to channeling, whether it's light language, mediumship or whatever, like you really just need to learn to listen. And once you learn to do that, you understand like these different things and how your system can integrate. And then this being like started integrating in me more and more until eventually I just like fully merged. So now I don't have to like, tune in to get my channel to come down. Like it's just always present basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy because they have a lot of knowledge at that dimension, I bet.
They do. They do. I had about 6 months when my big awakening process started where I couldn't really function much. I was literally like sitting in bed and I was just downloading information, like the sacred geometry, the multidimensionality, the galactics. I was seeing blue flames in my room, like beings, Lyran beings, portals opening. It was like really insane. I was grateful that I had a colleague of mine who went through it a few years before. And this is now 2017, 2018. Like this isn't really a thing. Like the ascension isn't like such a big thing, online.
You were early.
Yeah, it started quite early for me. They told me it had to be that way so that I would be able to hold grid and frequency throughout the pandemic, so that I was already activated. And then I was able to hold that space for other people that were coming into the understanding and into the awareness. So it can be very overwhelming. I work a lot on grounding myself so that I can stay very present in the now. Yeah.
Nice. When you're channeling, what's the discernment process? Because are you hearing all sorts of voices? Like, how does it work exactly?
So the clarity of the channel is directly proportionate to the depths to which someone has met themselves. So if you are struggling with yourself, if you're lying to yourself, if you're not truthful, if you're not honest, if your throat chakra and heart chakra are not connected and communicating, your channel is going to be distorted. So I try to live as much in alignment with my truth as I can. And that really already creates a discernment within myself and within my system and energy field. It's not really voices. So all my clairs are activated, my clairvoyance, my claircognizance, my clairalience, my clairgustance, they all work. But I mainly work with claircognizance, which is just the knowing. I will work with the visual and the clairvoyance as well, especially when I'm with clients. But when it comes to my own life and my own understanding, I will mainly use claircognizance. So I would say because these beings and these higher versions of myself are integrated within me, I don't have to ask. It just comes if it makes sense.
Yeah, that's great advice because there's a lot of people channeling and they don't know if it's demonic or something,
Yeah.
because they're not in the right headspace.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think everything is a process, I think the universe has a way of showing you what is good for you. And I find that if you're truthful and honest with yourself, no one is perfect. You don't have to be a perfect human to be able to channel, but striving and working, on yourself. But I think the most important would definitely be the truth. If you are teaching boundaries to people, but in your own private life, you're people pleasing everyone, you're not in alignment. Your channel will have distortion. So it is a big problem in the industry. It's an issue because a lot of people are not consciously aware of it.
Right.
And they're out there channeling, but they haven't really done, so much internal work. And so some stuff is coming through distorted. I think for the audience, it's down to their own discernment. If something feels off, then it's generally off.
I love what you said about people pleasing, because I used to be a people pleaser and it was hurting me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big thing. It's two of the main issues that I find with clients and people is the people pleasing. So the boundaries, not being firm in the boundaries, and then struggling to speak the truth. Because again, it's tied in with the people pleasing, you know. And I've also learned that when it comes to manifestation and abundance, you're going to really struggle to manifest and be abundant if you're pleasing people the whole time, because your energy field has leakages. So you're not going to be able to hold that container of abundance, of financial abundance, or what it is that you want to manifest, because you're just draining yourself the whole time.
Shout out to today's sponsor, Quince. As the weather cools, I'm swapping in the pieces that actually gets the job done, that are warm, durable, and built to last. Quince delivers every time with wardrobe staples that'll carry you through the season. They have fall staples that you'll actually want to wear, like the 100% Mongolian cashmere for just $60. They also got classic fit denim and real leather and wool outerwear that looks sharp and holds up. By partnering directly with ethical factories and top artisans, Quince cuts out the middleman to deliver premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. They've really become a go-to across the board. You guys know how I love linen and how I've talked about it on previous episodes. I picked up some linen pants and they feel incredible. The quality is definitely noticeable compared to other brands. Layer up this fall with pieces that feel as good as they look. Go to quince.com/DSH for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. They're also available in Canada too.
That's good to know, because I always wondered why some people are way better at manifesting than others.
Yeah, there you go. So that's quite a big one that I always explain. Boundaries go hand in hand with abundance. And if people struggle, I always say if your boundaries are really low, rather put them really, really high and then slowly take them down, because you're not going to know where healthy boundaries are if they're very, very low.
Smart. You mentioned sacred geometry earlier. That's something people are starting to wake up to. What's going on with sacred geometry?
So the way I understand it, it's very connected to light language. A lot of the times when the codes come through with the phonetics through my mouth, I can see them in sacred geometry as well. Sacred geometry is also connected to the grid, to the earth grid. I mean, there's so much, you know, the sacred geometry can really go back to everything, you know, to life itself, and all these beings really communicate through the geometry, through the numbers, through the maths. And I think that in the quantum realm, which is, you know, beyond space and time, that's really the midpoint between spirituality and science. It's where everything meets there. So I mean, sacred geometry is great, and I also really try to explain to people that, like, everything is what you make of it. So if you have a beautiful symbol that you write and you create and you infuse it with your love and with your energy, that's your sacred geometry. Do you know what I mean? Like, we are master co-creator beings. We can really create anything that we want. This system is a perfect machine that we have access to.
Fascinating. I just found out yesterday the Milky Way galaxy is Fibonacci sequence.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So it's just so interesting how the most beautiful things in nature can be explained with numbers.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So like simulation theory, basically, right? Do you believe in that?
I like that there's, can you expand?
Simulation theory is like we live in a matrix almost. Like everything can be explained with numbers.
Yeah. So yes, there is truth to that. So there's a lot of different dimensional densities that we live and operate in, and a lot of them are overlapping. So just for the sake of argument, I can explain a little bit the dimensional density. So in the first dimensional density, something just is. It just exists. In the second one that overlaps, it is and it has consciousness of being. In the third one, which is where we're existing now, it has consciousness of being. It can now take action. However, it is still limited by the constraints of time and space. In your fourth dimensional density, which would be your astral, your dream space, when you set your intentions and you manifest as well, your remote viewing would be your 4D. It's the same as a 3D. However, you're not limited by time anymore. If you think about it, in the dream space, you can manifest instantly, but you're still limited by space. In your fifth dimensional density, you now have no more limitations of time and space. So, and then they go up. So these are kind of like the ones that we are navigating, but it's almost like they're all overlapping and existing together at the same time. So there's definitely dimensional densities that are made of numbers. The numbers can definitely go back to that. I mean, I think I saw there was a video that someone showed that within a laser, they could see like the structure of the matrix of the grid and the
I
numbers.
had that guy on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
On DMT, right?
yes, I saw that. So there's for sure, if you think about technology and screens, that's a whole other dimensional density that we can see in. So there's so many of them that are all happening and overlapping at the same time that, yeah, for sure. I don't think per se we are living in a simulation, but I do think that we've been programmed to believe that we need to follow certain rules and things. And this is what's happening now. We're going back to reclaiming our sovereignty. So learning how to really take control of our life.
From the aliens that people think of, are those 3D or do they usually reside in higher dimensions?
It's both. So it's both. So I've had encounters within the 3D, like with alien beings, like physically. But the ones generally that work and assist in the collective and humanity operate on higher dimensional densities. And this is why a lot of people are like, oh, but why am I not seeing Pleiadians or Arcturians? And it's like, it's a lot easier if you raise your frequency and you meet them at their level than it is for them to come here and like become solid, kind of like to meet you sort of thing.
Because they're light beings at that dimension.
Yeah, they're operating from spaces of love. I mean, they're still navigating their own lessons. But they're operating in densities that are lighter. Yeah, definitely. Because I think the more the frequency rises, the lighter it is within the dimensional density. So when the dimensional density is denser, the frequency is actually lower. So your 3D beings and aliens are more the ones that are operating on a lower vibrational frequency for service to self. There's two pathways that evolution takes. The organic one is service to others, and then the inorganic one would be your service to self.
So is the whole idea just to keep climbing dimensions as you live more lives and eventually reach the highest dimension?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, raising your vibrational frequency. And a lot of starseeds, which is beings like me who are here and remember their previous lifetimes in other planets and dimensional densities, they've gone through some of these evolutions, so their soul is actually more evolved than the 3D, but they choose to come back here to help and assist.
Got it. What planets do you remember living on?
So I actually had a lifetime where I was a planet.
What?
Yeah. That's quite a crazy story. I was in very deep meditation, and I was this planet, and I was actually destroyed. And I remember it was horrible. I remember being this planet, and I remember being like bombarded and exploding, and I remember, I don't know, maybe like millions of beings on it all dying, and it all like went through me, and I felt the death of each single being as a planet through me. Yeah, I think I cried for maybe like half an hour or something when I was moving through that. It was a very deep channel that I received back in 2022. And this was one of my lifetimes. I've had lifetimes on Pleiades. I've had lifetimes on Orion. I've had lifetimes on the Lyra constellation. I've had lifetime as like an aquatic being. I lived in Atlantis and Lemuria as well here on Earth. And those I have a lot of recollection of. And a lot of my codes that I bring through, my written codes, come from actually ancient Atlantean technology as well.
Nice. That is crazy. I wonder if that was a galactic war or something that exploded.
Probably, yeah. I don't really, like, sometimes I can ask what it is. I don't really, a lot of the times they say to me, like, you can know, but that's not the point. The point is you clearing the energy and moving through it. And what I've learned in this work and in this process is that I don't need to ask. What I need to know will be sent to me, sort of thing, yeah.
That's cool. Where do you rank this life compared to your previous ones?
I love being on Earth. I think Earth is amazing. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's my last lifetime here. I want to leave. Like, I love it. If I'll get the choice, which, you know, most of us will, I think, yeah, everyone actually will get your choice. I will come back. Like, I'll come back on Earth. I like it here. I think Earth is amazing. We have so many beautiful things. There's so many things we can do and share and learn. And yeah, I like, you know, Earth. I mean, not all my lessons have been easy, but that's, you know, part of it. But I think I'm very happy with being here.
Is the reincarnation process linear? So like when we pass away in this life, do we choose to keep going in the future, or can we choose in the past? How does that work?
So no, it's not linear. It's linear in the way of lessons. So let's say, Althea needs to learn from lesson A to lesson B. Okay, so in this lifetime, I need to learn these 2 lessons. Let's put it that way. So if I am listening and I'm present, I'm grounded, it's going to be easy to get from lesson A to lesson B. If I'm not listening, I'm going against my better judgment, I don't know, a criminal or whatever, I'm not really going to get to lesson B and I'll stay stuck in lesson A. So it's the same with the evolutionary process. If you, in this lifetime, you don't learn certain lessons, then you're going to come back and have to learn them again. I think you can choose if you want to maybe go, I don't know, live in medieval times and learn them there. I think there's definitely some kind of like universal law that prevents you from accessing places that wouldn't be aligned with your soul's evolutionary process.
Okay.
So let's say you can't access areas where there's only lessons 5 and 6 and 7 to learn. You can only be in the areas where you can learn lessons like 1, 2, and 3 sort of thing. So for me, I will do maybe like 500 to 1,000 years on Earth, then I'll go away. I'll do maybe like another 1,000 years on another planet, then I'll come back here. So I'll have cycles, and that's how I learn my lessons. So the evolution of the soul is different to the dimensional density of where you're existing. It's 2 separate evolutionary processes. Let's put it that way.
And do we all have the same lessons?
That's a good question. I think so. We probably all have to move through like basic lessons like sovereignty and, understanding yourself and taking care of yourself and things like that. I think some of us have some that are harder than others, but we are all souls and we all then, end up going back to source consciousness and we all come from source consciousness. So I would presume that because it's source experiencing itself through us, then we all need to navigate through a certain amount of lessons. Yeah.
How long does past life karma last? Like, can that last multiple lifetimes? Like,
that's a good question. It used to be like that, but it doesn't have to be like that right now. So right now, because we can access 5th dimensional density in the quantum realm, we can actually clear karma instantly. So yeah, I do that a lot with my clients. They come to me for Akashic readings and Akashic clearings. And once you understand the program and the structure, you can literally just dismantle it and clear it and release it.
wow.
Yeah, it can be that quick right now. Like this is why we, in this like pocket of time, that it's amazing because you can really heal karma instantly if you just learn to listen and tune into yourself.
Yeah, we're going to do a session one of these days, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I want to do it before the...
I know, sorry. I've been filming so much.
Yeah, I can imagine, but I would love for you to try, and then I can see your previous lifetimes. We can do some light language. And sometimes just having knowledge of your previous lifetime will be enough to heal it and clear it. Just you knowing and acknowledging it will be enough to release it and let it go.
Wow. Akashic records. Sounds like you can learn a lot just diving into those, right?
Yeah, definitely. But again, it's also like very interesting because the way I understand that the Akashic records work is we don't all access them. We actually tune in, and then there's almost like guards or people taking care of them. And then we ask what it is, and then they'll portray the information to us, and then, we use it. So I find that the easiest way to access is releasing attachment to wanting to access them. If you're not ready, you're going to struggle to access them. So it's a lot easier if you're like working on someone to access theirs than when it comes for your personal stuff, because obviously there's attachment, there's emotions, But the records can be so useful in figuring out, traumas, karmic connections and lifetimes with other people like family members, loved ones, soul partners, and things like that. So they're a really like beautiful tool that we have and we are able to access, but you need to obviously be in the right frequency, and it's a big responsibility to be able to access them.
Interesting. Does everyone have the potential to have your abilities, you think? Or
Yes.
do they need to live many lifetimes to have that?
Everyone has an energy field. Everyone has a chakra system. If you imagine like our field, it's almost like we have an antenna. And if you learn to tune in the antenna, you can tune into whatever frequency. You can channel a crystal if you want to. You can tune into. So everyone can do that. I'm just good at it because I do it a lot. But it's like a sport or everything. The more you practice, the better you get at it. The more you exercise, the better you get at it. So everyone can channel. Everyone can be psychic. Everyone has abilities.
Did this run in your family too?
I come from a lineage of psychic women, yes. My grandmother was psychic, and my mom also has psychic capabilities. They never took it up for a living, so they're not psychics for a living, but the women in my family are psychic, yes.
There was a lot of shame around it back then, right?
I'm very lucky that I came through a family where, I grew up in Italy, so we did have a bit of like a religious upbringing with the church, but my parents were always very open. Like I had my first tarot deck at 12, and they were like,
Wow.
Well, if she's not harming anyone, like, I mean, maybe they could have been a little bit more structured because I was playing with Ouija boards a bit early. So that's a whole other, like...
They sell those at Walmart. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I would advise against, like, we didn't have, like, great experiences when I was prepared. Like,
I don't think anyone did when they were a kid with their...
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. So I was very blessed and grateful to have a family that never opposed. And they were like, well, if it makes you happy, sure, as long as you're not bringing, like, weird stuff in the house, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Ouija boards should not be sold to kids.
Yeah, I agree.
Those are dangerous.
Yeah.
Right?
They're portals. They literally portals to other dimensions. Like, we had a intense experience the one time, and I still remember I was like maybe 13 or 14, and we'd made a paper one and used a coin.
Wow.
And we were in the middle of a field in the snow. This is like mountain snow in Italy, like minus 10 degrees in winter.
Jeez.
And we started playing with it, and all of a sudden, like, the coin was moving, and the paper that was lying on the snow like ice caught fire.
What?
Yeah, there was no, like, fire, and it started burning on, and we just stood up and screamed and ran. And that was, I don't think I've touched one since.
I'm sure you've dealt with some dark magic, especially being in Africa, right? They're known for some dark magic.
Yeah. So black magic is a real thing. I've learned that it has the power that you give it. So if you claim your sovereignty and you don't give it power, it really can't have that much power over you. But I had a personal experience back in 2020 where me and my partner at the time were targeted from this Black African witch doctor. And we had things like, glasses flying across the living room and smashing against the wall. And this person was like taking money from us. And it was a very intense experience. I was able to, like, remove myself from it. And my partner at the time, unfortunately, like, didn't end up in like a good situation. But he was possessed on a lot of levels. He was like, there was like all these demonic entities and spirits that were like around the house. I was being attacked at night. There was like things like trying to suffocate me in my sleep.
Sleep paralysis, right?
Yeah, sleep paralysis. But even when I was awake, like, I remember this one time I was lying on my bed and my partner, he was like outside, and I had the window open, and all of a sudden, like, this is Africa, like January, so it's full summer. This cold breeze comes in, and and I'm sitting on my bed, and I was pregnant at the time, and it paralyzes and freezes me, and I start feeling like I'm getting choked, and and I couldn't breathe, and I tried to call him for help, and I couldn't, and this lasted, it felt like forever, but it must have maybe been like a minute or something like that, and I knew that it was this witch doctor that was trying to, like, manipulate, and every time he would try to break away, these things would, like, get worse and worse.
Jeez, that is scary.
Yeah, it was very scary.
How did you break that?
Well, I removed myself from the union, and that was the first step. And then I just started working on myself, and I actually changed house as well and changed location and moved away from where I was staying. And the doctor was more connected to my partner at the time. And so I think when I broke that union and I claimed my sovereignty back, because it was also a very, like, violent, abusive, and narcissistic relationship. So when I was able to claim my power away from that, I was able to, then surrender and release. And it took like months. But I think it's also made me a good energy worker because, like, I've been through those extreme emotions and experiences. And I think, I was then told, I don't know if this is true, but I was then told that the end goal of this Black African witch doctor was actually to take my baby. Because he knew that I was pregnant at the time. And they then lure you in and take you in and, brainwash you into then giving them their child for whatever purpose.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So I was told this after from, like, a local man who knew this stuff. He was like, no, he was, like, grooming you to get to your child.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that was quite scary. But, like, now I'm scared of nothing.
Yeah? You have no fears?
No, I don't know. Not really. I mean, I've battled demonic entities. I don't. I mean, I'm a bit scared of heights. Like, I won't go, like, bungee jumping or skydiving sort of thing. But when it comes to spiritual things, because I know that unless you allow them to, they can only latch onto you if you have the frequency of fear. That's how they latch onto you. If you don't have it, there's nothing for them to feed and to latch onto you. You can start clearing your system and vibrate at such a high vibrational frequency that they can't even see you.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, like, I used to get psychically attacked a lot.
Yeah.
Before I got to where I am now because of my mission and the light that I carry and what I'm doing collectively. And there's polarity. So things will try to block me, always. And now, like, it's very seldom that it happens. Like, sometimes it still happens as pre-contracted agreement so that I move through the experience. But when you vibrate at a certain frequency, they can't latch onto you. There's really nothing that can attack you or do anything or assault you or anything like that. They were only able to latch onto you if you allow them to, basically.
That's good to know because I've been getting attacked in my dreams lately.
Oh, really? What's happening?
Yeah, just reptilians.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I had a few reptilians try to attack me. This was back in 2021. I generally are you conscious? Are you lucid in your astral space?
Not usually.
No, on and off. So the way the astral space works is you obviously are holding a big collective voice, so it would make sense that they can only attack you in the lower tiers. So if you start vibrating at a higher tier, they actually can't get up there. So things you can do is play frequency. I can send to you play frequency overnight from your laptop. You don't even have to hear it. It can be like on the side of the room.
Smart.
Yeah, and you'll play that and then it'll just clear the space and they won't be able to come through anymore. If you're lucid, what I do is I spray light either from my heart or from my hands. And with the reptilians, they trick you because they'll create they'll co-create like a scenario and you'll think it's your dream, but they're actually creating it to like attack you, or like I had them like get my throat and then like with their like sharp pointy teeth, and so the frequency will definitely help and assist, but I can send you a few things to help.
Thank you. That's good to know.
Yeah,
they're persistent, man, because I put crystals all over. They still got through, did the salt thing.
Yeah. The frequency will help, and generally like maybe doing like a guided meditation or just anchoring in a space of gratitude and love before going to sleep. There might be something that you're not seeing in your life that is worrying you, and then you're going to sleep and something is worrying you, and then they can come in through that frequency.
That's exactly what's happening. Every time they find a little thing I'm worrying about, that's when I notice that week there's more of them.
Yeah, exactly. So just make a point of not worry about it before going to sleep.
Smart.
So that then your frequency isn't in that space and they can't latch onto you. It's a phase. Like they were on me for about a year, I think maybe 6 months to. How long has it been going on for?
About a year, yeah.
Yeah. You'll get to a space where they won't be able to access you anymore, but we all move through it. It's quite normal and standard when you are holding a collective voice that they'll come and try and stop you or scare you or, but what you're doing is already great. But the worrying thing definitely will help.
That's good to know. Thank you. You also lived in India, right?
Yes, I was in India. I didn't live there for long. It was about a month. I was there in 2022 in the holy land of Rishikesh. I did some work and did my yoga teacher training there. So
Nice.
Kundalini and multi-yoga. And then I actually ended up, this is a crazy story. So I ended up having to clear a temple in the Himalayas, which I didn't know. I just ended up there with the group and everything. Anyway, long story short, everyone was accessing and being like, oh, this is so grateful and blessed temple. And I couldn't go in the sacred space. I just felt nauseated and very sick, and I was clearing and I couldn't go in. And then when I went back to my ashram, I tuned in and they said to me, that was actually a place where they used to have children sacrifice.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is like eons ago in another dimensional density. And it was, but it was like, this is what used to happen. And this is why you weren't able to go in it. And you were supposed to go there to energetically help in clearing this timeline. And I actually ended up physically injuring myself when I was there. I broke a bone.
Jeez.
In order for the karma to be able to clear through my physical body to clear that timeline and that temple space in the Himalaya in India.
That is nuts.
It was insane. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I have like hundreds of these stories.
That's nuts.
It's like never a dull moment when you do this.
Yeah, because there's a lot of healers that actually don't live too long because I think they're just inheriting all the energy and they don't know how to channel it right.
Yeah, so I think with me, I have a very big team. I've got about 300 beings that work with me when I work with clients and on myself and things like that. So I don't get sick anymore. I haven't gotten sick in maybe like 4 or 5 years because whenever there's something, I'll move through it. So I will clear sometimes by burping, by coughing, by gagging, by yawning, exercise, and I will start feeling it because I listen to myself. I will start feeling like irritable or I'll start feeling emotion, and then I'll know that something needs to clear. If I don't clear it, like a lot of people do, then the energy will get stuck, and that's when you get sick.
Right.
The physical is the last thing. The body and the system tries to warn you. If something is off energetically and you clear it, then you don't need to get sick. You're not going to get sick. Do you know what I mean? It's only like a last resort that you get sick from something. Now, I'm not saying like a cold or something like that, but when you get like very, very sick, it's actually just stuck energy. So if everyone learns how to just open up a little bit more their channel and clear energy, then you don't have to get sick.
That's good to know. Do you do a lot of clearings at haunted locations as well?
I get called for spaces to go to. I do houses.
Yeah.
I don't really go in haunted locations. I have been here and there, but I can do it. I'll do houses. I'll do sometimes land. They'll call me to clear like a whole land and a whole space. I find that a lot of the time things come in and out from mirrors. So people are not aware, that if they have mirrors, they must be mindful to just make sure that, even just imagining white light around your mirror or something like that. I use a lot of symbols for clearing. So I do that. I do more activations of sacred sites. So I'll go in, and the way it works for me is I'll open up my channel, energy will come through, will come in, and then through me, it will anchor into the grid, or if I'm doing a workshop, like into the people, things like that.
I'd love to get your opinion on Easter Island, because when I was a kid, I was fascinated with Easter Island. Do you know what
Is that
happened?
the one with the faces and the beings? I've never tuned into that. No, where is it?
Some island, but they tried burning it down like a couple years ago. There must be some.
Really? Who tried burning it down?
No one knows. Yeah,
Really?
It was a huge fire. Yeah.
I don't know. I had read that they had found more of those sculptures and structures and faces and all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely for me that it's all ET beings. Like it's all beings that were here, beings that have been here, beings that come and go. Some of these places have beings that are existing there, but in another dimensional density. So they're there right now, but we just can't see them. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and that's when you pick up a lot of energy in these spaces. I mean, they say that there's beings existing in inner Earth as well, within another dimensional densities, or some of them actually in the physical as well. What I learned is, especially when it was in Lemurian times, so these evolved beings, they had a physical body, but they also existed outside the physical. So they would actually choose and switch in between the two. So whatever worked for them at that moment, they would be sometimes in the physical and doing things in the physical, and sometimes they would exist, in the energetic and in the etheric body. So I think a lot of beings now that are evolved can do that.
Yeah, Bigfoot, right?
Yeah. Did he also exist?
Well, there's a lot of theories that because people can never take photos of him, so they theorize that he could just switch dimensions.
Yes, that would make sense. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that would make. I think they're all true. All of them are true. I mean, I had lifetimes as a mermaid.
Wow.
Yeah, I was sent to this location. This is a very big grid clearing that I did back in 2022. I didn't know why. I was getting called to go to this event on this beach in Mozambique. And when I got there, I realized that there had been a massacre on the beach. About 500 mermaids had been massacred and killed, and I was one of them. And I had to do all this ritual and this energy work to clear the space and clear from this massacre. So that was a lifetime on Earth that I had as a different being, but, still on this planet. So I think it's all true, the elves, the pixies, the gnomes, it's all real. Like in one density or another, they all come from channeled information that people have connected to and seen and received.
Interesting. Why did the mermaids, who killed them? Like, what happened with that?
I don't know. I don't actually know. It was just like a bloodbath. It was just a bloodbath, yeah. I had the feeling I might say humans.
Really?
Yeah, it could have been humanoids or human beings. But what I saw was just this. They were like all washed ashore, and there was just blood everywhere, and they were all women. And I've had different lifetimes as a mermaid, but some of them that I remember, like, we weren't as nice either. Like, I would lure men in and kill them.
Damn.
Yeah.
Cannibals.
Yeah, some of them were cannibals as well.
Okay. Yeah, because in Disney movies, they don't show that part.
Yeah. So there were ones that weren't, but some that were as well. So, I mean, it's polarity. Everything has its purpose, like animals, like kill, but it's part of the evolutionary process. So, yeah.
Yeah, same with sirens, right? The beautiful voice, they lure you in.
Yeah, exactly.
Take you out. Yeah, humans took out giants too.
Yes, I read that as well. Yeah. I think there probably still are a few. We just can't see them. Or like don't know where they are. I'm sure there's places that we're not like allowed to visit where there's still like beings
Oh, yeah.
that.
Antarctica.
Yeah, exactly. I actually came across this recently online, and this girl was saying that in the woods, like in like Yellowstone and like the national parks in America, there's actually like beings that exist there. They're like are humanoid, but haven't like evolved past being like like unevolved humans, and they literally like kidnap people, and that's why so many people go missing in these parks.
Whoa.
Yeah.
There are a lot of missing people in the state parks.
Yeah, and they say that it's like beings, and once you like try to kind of like get to them, then I don't know, they either disappear, or you get told not to go, or they I think some people found like threats, they like heard threats, so they like couldn't go through or things like that. I think they protected by some sort of government thing, but they kidnap people.
Interesting. Yellowstone, you see what's going on with the animals there right now?
No, what's happening?
All the animals are leaving.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they're saying they know something's going on.
Wow.
Yeah, they're literally leaving Yellowstone
When
Park.
did this start happening?
A couple weeks ago. Yeah, they're all walking away right now as we speak.
All like every type of animal.
All the big ones, yeah. The moose.
Is there a volcano or something there?
People theorize it could be a super volcano.
Yeah, the first thing that came to me now when you said like I could think more like a volcano than maybe even an earthquake of some sort, but I would think some because there's no water there. It's not like there can be like a tsunami or anything like
yeah. There's a volcano there, I believe. But maybe they hear it underground.
Maybe they can feel that something. Yeah, who knows?
Crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of theories that these mass weather events are artificially created too.
Yeah, I think they could do anything. I think they can do anything. I think that to some extent, these things need to happen for the earth to clear the karma within itself. So these natural disasters are actually clearing on a karmic level for the earth and for Mother Gaia, but it doesn't have to be so drastic, I definitely think there's a lot that we aren't being told. There's a lot that we don't know. There's a lot that's being done behind the scenes. I mean, you see weird stuff in the sky all the time.
Yeah.
Like they definitely, and I think there's papers that have come out that say that they can manipulate weather. So
There has been, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're doing it 24/7, but I do believe that there definitely is, some control mechanism behind it of the dark agenda for sure.
Do you think Mother Earth and the ocean are upset of all the pollution?
Yeah, I think we could do better. We could take better care of Earth. We could take better care of each other. I think upset is not the right word. I think the Earth has compassion for humanity, and we are part of it. So we are feeling the pain that we are inflicting on the Earth itself. So we are sharing the pain with her. Everything is conscious awareness, the Earth, the ocean, the mountains, Everything has its own awareness, but everything is also connected, and we are connected to it. So by harming her, we are also harming ourselves. So it's a shared pain. So they're sad for us that we're doing it, But I think an evolved being like Earth, and this is also what I've channeled. I mean, people can take it or leave it. I think that as we raise the frequency of the planet, the soul that is inside Earth now is actually going to leave, and a new one will come in.
Wow.
For the new Earth. Yeah. So that's something that's come through to me a few years ago, just because of the frequency that's shifting and changing. And this soul that's in the Earth now has completed its cycle and will go off and maybe incarnate in a human or another planet, or, something else. Like I mentioned, I've been a planet.
That's a big flex right there. You were a planet. That's awesome. I haven't met someone that's been a planet before.
Well, there you go. There's always a first time.
I've heard some aliens. I've heard people being a tree, but not planet. That's a good one. Yeah, well done. Thanks. Do you think the vibration is going up overall with people right now?
Yeah, I think we've already accessed the lower tiers of positively polarized fourth dimensional density of the planet. So this means that there's no going back. We're in the right direction. We organically evolving. The challenge is now to integrate technology in a way that is healthy. We are clearing ancient Atlantean karmic timelines right now, which means that what happened in Atlantis was the technology wasn't integrated in a healthy way. It took over. Humanity was destroyed. A lot of people died and all of that. We are now healing that and learning to integrate technology in a way that is healthy, that is serving us, so that we stay on a timeline that is organic. And I have I have a very positive feeling for Earth. As I said, I'm happy to be here. I think, we're in the right direction. I think people like you and me and people that are bringing awareness to these topics is really important, because if you think about it, if you look back at 5 years ago, like how much, it has grown, the conscious awareness of self, and how people are more turning, to inward for answers, then yeah, I think we're on a really good track.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I talked about this stuff in high school, I got laughed at. Like, I was so ashamed to even bring up like sleep paralysis or astral travel. They were like, "What is that? That's a joke,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's like there's like books and information and podcasts, and it's like, a worldwide accepted thing. And we're going to be seeing more and more of that. Like, it can't be stopped. Like, they can try, but it's not going to happen. It's like it's happening.
Yeah. So when you say technology destroyed Atlantis, was that AI technology? Was that something else?
Yeah, it was mainly AI and just like technology that wasn't integrated in a way that was healthy. So I had many lifetimes in Atlantis, but one that I actually channeled a drawing back in 2019, where it's basically you see all these volcanoes erupting and these huge, like spider-like big machines coming down and just like destroying everything, like making kind of like what's that? Terminator.
Terminator.
Yeah, kind of like that. But they weren't like humanoid. They were like huge, like spider-like machines. And I think like it was a lesson humanity had to learn from that. There was also a lot of distortion back then. Like, they were doing too many experiments. They were trying to mix genetics. So, they were trying to mix AI and the transhumanism and mixing different species, and they would create things like a half human, half animal, or half human, half machine, and it was just, it didn't go in a direction that was healthy and organic. It started off positively, and then it just kind of degenerated because the people started working in service to self instead of service to others. So if we carry on, staying in compassion and gratitude and love, and you don't really need to do much, just be like a kind, nice human being, and Earth will be great.
Because that's so hard to ask, guys.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, the transhumanism stuff, there's a lot of theories that these underground military bases, they're doing that stuff right now, like Area 51.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's the Dulce base thing that came out. I think it was like in the 70s or 80s. There's photos of that online. I don't know if they've been removed, but when I went down all those rabbit holes, there was a photo of like a human with like octopus tentacles.
Whoa,
they were like
in the 70s?
Yeah, 70s or 80s, the Dulce base.
So imagine what they have going on now.
Exactly. Yeah, they definitely have like tech that we're not aware of, and I think, yeah, these experiments like have been happening, and they probably are still happening that we're not aware of. I think as humans, we need to really just focus on, like, as I said, being compassionate, being patient. And these souls that are going through these experiences within these experiments, they also agreed to do that. It's part of their lesson, part of their contract, so everything that's serving its purpose, but for sure, like, it's definitely not like a great thing that's happening. It's horrible.
Have you met someone that didn't have a soul before? He was cloned or something happened?
No, but I've met people that were in the MK Ultra programming.
Really?
Yeah, I've had a few clients that have come. This one woman, she was British, and she had been taken from when she was very young, and she remembered, like, and it's weird. She said, like, her parents, like, agreed to it, but they were brainwashed into agreeing to it. And she came to me for help, but I was actually not able to help her after a while because she was actually, like, very delusional. She wasn't able to anchor back into reality. So she would, like, start, like, attacking me.
Whoa.
And thinking that, like, I had, like, created or done things to her, or, she would the line between reality and delusion was very blurred for her. So I don't think she was even really functioning much as it. She was maybe in like her 50s or something like that. So I've had people who've had that. I've had people who remember it and have come out of it and are now, like, processing and healing and moving through it. But there's a few that they never really able to actually go back to like a normal life. But as for without a soul, well, I haven't had any client come to me, and because they wouldn't come to me for healing if they didn't have a soul.
Right.
I'm trying to think if I've ever encountered someone that, but no, not in my experience. I'm sure there are out there, and I know there's like all these also like these men in black and these people who say these stories. But because I work in such high vibrational frequency spaces, it's not really something that's part of my reality.
Yeah.
When they did try to stop me, I actually had gray beings come in my room and assault me in the 3D, but I saw them through the astral. So this was one of the most powerful experiences I had that triggered my awakening back in 2017, 2018. I was in Italy. At the time, it was September, and I was moving through a lot of pain and grief. So I was not in a very good emotional space.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was about to go to sleep. It was very late. I couldn't fall asleep. I was really struggling to fall asleep. And I was on the ground floor of an apartment. And the window door was open because it was hot. And I just left it open. It was safe. And it was like a closed complex. Anyway, I go to sleep, and all of a sudden, like, I'm running and I'm running away from aliens. And I'm very lucid in my astral. I've been lucid since I was a child. I mean, I'll do exorcisms in my astral. I'll fight. Like, I know what's going on. Like, I know, you know? So I'm like, I'm getting followed by beings, by aliens. They're coming to get me. They're coming to get me. So I'm running, and then people are like dropping dead next to me. There's like crowds and people are like dying. So I hide under the table. And as I hide under the table, I physically start getting prodded in my lower back.
Jeez.
And I get thrown back into my body. And as I get back into my body, I turn to my left, and there's like about 1/2 meter between the wall and my face on the bed. And there's a gray being in my face. His head was quite big, but the body was small. He was wearing like a gray, like round neck with short sleeves. And at the time I was still wearing glasses. So my vision was a little bit blurred. I get physically pushed back into the pillow, and I like hear them leave from the window, and I'm like drenched in like sweat. And I'm like, and I knew what had happened because I knew these things were going on. So it took me like hours to come back to myself. And then the next day, and then all the dogs were barking like mad outside. Like, and I look at the clock, and it was like 10 minutes past 3. So all of that happened in the span of 10 minutes. I flew back to South Africa the next day, and I contacted a QHHT hypnotic regression. So I went in session, and I was sent back there. So as I was sent back through the quantum realm. So I went back as my higher version of self, and I saw there were 3 beings. One was next to me, one was at the foot of the bed, and one was next to the door window. And as I went back, I looked at them as my higher self, and I said to them, you need to leave. You can't be here. All 3 of them turned and looked at me as my higher version of self in the QHHT, like hypnosis, going back. And they were like, oh my God, how is she accessing the quantum realm? How is she accessing this dimension? Like, this shouldn't be happening. We shouldn't be seen. We need to leave now. Like, we can't be here. They were like freaked out. Like, how is she doing this, you know? And so then they left, and then I was told that I needed to move through that experience to have a big perception switch. Because after that, I was like, okay, well, if there's bad beings, there must be good aliens. Why don't I contact the good ones? And that's when my whole like process started in contacting beings.
Wow, what a story. So it sounds like you time traveled.
I did, yeah. I accessed the quantum realm where time is fluid. So through the hypnotic regression, I was taken into that experience, and I addressed them, and they looked back at me, and then it was insane. Yeah.
Wow.
It was an insane experience.
So you could shift your whole memory in a way.
Yeah. Well, that's how you heal the trauma from previous lifetimes. You just go into the quantum loop, and anyone can access that space. All you need to do is get into a space. I call it 0-point neutrality. So you meditate and you get into a space where you have no thoughts, no worries, no stress. You're just static. Everything is still. And when you're in that space, it's the best space to manifest something. So if you want to manifest financial abundance, you must think of what the financial abundance will bring you. Do you want freedom to travel? Do you want safety for a house to buy? Let's say you want freedom to travel. You become the emotion of freedom from the 0-point neutrality. And then you start to anchor into the timeline where you have that, and you attract it. All the timelines are possible. You just need to anchor into the frequency where you are that, basically.
I love that. I've learned so much today. Thank you. We need to film more. This is really awesome. Should we end off with some channeling?
Sure, of
some
course.
light language?
Yeah, of course. So you can just start by closing your eyes and anchoring into the body as you find a comfortable breathing rhythm. With every inhale, you breathe in light. And with every exhale, you release all that doesn't serve you anymore. As you relax body, system, and energy field, you stay in a space of openness and oneness. And as we call on the Archangelic Collective, Michael to the south, Uriel to the north, Raphael to the east, Gabriel to the west, we call on Archangel Metatron with his blue cloak of protection from above, and sound off on to seal the grid from below. We call on our higher selves as spirit guides. Triata creo kurkutkura yeshinayatra, sikurkura yashirayatra, shikurkutkra yeshinayatra, trikura yisikukunayashiratra, shikurkura yishira, opening systems, opening system, narat krua yeshinayatra, kieshitukurkua yeshirayatra, kiera yeshirayatra, shirotukutkra yeshirayatra, ushirayatra. You guys might feel this in the solar plexus. Opening, clean, releasing. Yetukuruku yo takiru urat kreasina uraishirayatra. Shkuruku aishinayatra, ukuruku aishirata, tishiratra, clean, releasing. Letting go. Shkuruku aishinayatra, tre ukurayatra aishirayatra. Shirukurukut krakiratrat, kruanaya shiratra. Shikurukut krakia shiratre. Shkuruku ayana ishirayatra, shirukuro, surrendering, anchoring. Anchoring more light, divine rays, anchoring, expanding, light, attuning, activating systems, activating DNA, activating structures, activating, expanding, more light, divine rays, anchoring, attuning, grounding, anchoring, more light, divine rays, expanding, codes of knowledge coming in, anchoring, structures, Shukrukuai shirayatra, triatik urai siraya shiratra, shukrukuai shirayatra, Vishurukut kruai shirayatra, urai sirai shirayatra, shukrukuarai shirayatra, anchoring, as we anchor more light, more divine rays in the system, we expand, we open, we surrender, we allow, we align, and we let go of all that doesn't serve us. Remembering the codes will go where they are needed, without judgment, letting go of judgment. Grounding in the now, in the present moment. And you can gently come back to the now or stay in process, whatever works for you at this moment in time. And whenever you feel ready, if you want, you can open your eyes.
Whoa.
How are you feeling?
I was like seeing stuff, honestly. That was cool.
Thanks.
Wow, I'm like a little lightheaded, honestly.
Yeah, you'll feel it. That's why I do it at the end, because you'll feel it in the system. And it can take sometimes for people to integrate can take a few days. The lightheadedness will like go maybe eat something, just ground, because I work in very high spaces. So the system like expands and kind of like goes higher. So you can feel a little bit like woozy after it. Yeah, it's very normal. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had something like that. So could you explain what that was to everyone?
Yeah, so generally when I do these collective clearings, it's mainly like clearings within the solar plexus, within the sacral. So letting go of emotions. The way that I do it is I'll basically go in, I'll open the system, and then your guides will come in and take out what you don't need. So kind of like pick it out at you. And then I'll close in and I'll seal, and then, you'll carry on. So sometimes it can be in the throat. Sometimes it can be the higher chakras. Sometimes you'll get visuals. You'll see light coming in. I will bring in light, and I will put light in the system, within the nervous system, the blood, the energy field, just kind of like putting light in. I'll make sure that everything is attuned, but the codes are very intelligent. So depending on the individual, they will receive what is needed for them at that moment in time.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for your time. Where can people find you and support you?
So yeah, on my website, althealucrezia.com. And then I do like 6-week and 6-month programs, so you can connect through for that. I run retreats as well. I'm doing one in Bali now in September, and I'm doing a light language and ascension training in LA in February next year as well. And then my Instagram is lightcodes by ALA. You can generally connect through there or through my website.
Amazing. Check her out, guys. That was awesome. And you'll probably see her back on the show. So stay tuned. See ya.
I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the show a lot with the algorithm. Thank you.